What's up, babies? Okay, we are closing the energetic year and entering a new energetic year on March 20th. That is when we begin the new astrological year. The sun enters Aries, the beginning of the zodiac, and currently we have Mars and Mercury retrograding in Pisces. And as we approach the 20th, all of this energy starts moving forward. So I am very curious to see what is in store for our collective. I'm going to be using two sets of cards today. My therapy cards, you know them, code cards. I use them in all my readings. They're my favorites. And ooh, we had a card jump out here already. I'm going to save that and put it on the side. These are my persona cards. You do not know these yet, and they're going to make a little premiere today. They're going to enter our world. Let me just tweak my camera quick. There you go. All right, now let's rock and roll. I have my mate, Argentinian national beverage, indeed. If you never tried it, you should. It's delicious. Okay, let's go. Let's rock and roll. If you want to hang out, please do. My name is Mel. This is Mel's Transmission. I give collective readings and also musical transmission. So if you want to check the channel out, go ahead and do that. There's a bunch of readings and also some little bit of a spicy musica happening over there, okay? All right, let's get started. So let's see, Spirit, what do we have in source? What can our collective expect this week as we transition into the energetic new year? I got one. Ooh, whole bunch. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Okay. All right. We got this one. And I have a person sitting with a crow staring at them. A man standing in front of a mountain. A little bit of a exposure situation here. Fire. And you know what's really interesting, actually? I pulled these two cards yesterday for myself. I pulled 3 cards, and those were 2 of them, so that's peculiar. Okay, let's see what we've got here when we put these all together. Okay, so I definitely feel like perhaps you felt in the last week or 2, or just the last few weeks, perhaps you felt a little bit overwatched, or it feels as if somehow maybe parts of you have been coming to the surface. Someone's been maybe calling you out on your shit. Maybe you've been calling other people out on their stuff, but there's this general feeling of being exposed and sort of being watched over with these 2 cards. I get the sensation that there's this feeling of we're all kind of caught up in our act, and maybe people have been calling us out. And it feels like there's this sensation of a shadow. Perhaps it's your own shadow. It could be the shadow of society, of humanity right now. We're in turbulent times, and it feels like you're being watched over. And at the same time, there's this kind of feeling of overwhelm with the amount of crap, pardon me, that is kind of in front of you. This is what I'm seeing with this card. It's kind of like you being confronted perhaps during this Mercury retrograde, which has been in Pisces, and it's been sort of flushing up a lot of old patterns. You might have had some crazy dreams. You might have seen things emerge again that you thought you were done with, that you thought, like, what the hell? I thought that this was over. And it's kind of this like little sneaky ass shadow that's been like in the background, and it's sort of peeking back up, and it's been rearing its head back up, like up at you. And perhaps you've been feeling a bit overwhelmed with all of the emotional charge of it. And I feel like with this card, it's left you a bit stripped bare, is what I'm getting here. It's almost like, it's interesting with this card because there's a shadow behind her, right? And the shadow could be walking away from you. It does feel like it's either a part of yourself, I feel like it's a part of yourself, of your own shadow, that you've maybe been working with. Maybe you were confronted with this huge weight of everything that was kind of buried under the rug for some time, that maybe just kind of surfaced all at once. And maybe as you were overwhelmed by it and confronted by it, you did allow yourself to sit with it. If you didn't, that is probably the process that you're going to be going through in the next days. This feeling of having to kind of feel that sensation of vulnerability and being stripped bare of, what you know. And there's this kind of sensation of, oh, maybe the shadow that was governing me, something that I was keeping hidden, is now, because it's been discovered, it's been exposed, all of that, it's kind of taking this step backward, right? And it's kind of walking away from us, and we can distance it, but it might also be leaving us feeling very vulnerable and exposed. Okay. And I feel like with these two cards, it feels like as we're transitioning into the new year, we're being called to root back down into our essence, to root back down into our roots, our essence, our ancestry. This is what I'm getting with this card. There might be for some of you a pull to investigate further, perhaps where these shadow sides came from. Maybe it's somewhere in your mother lineage. And there we have the card. Okay, I see. So there was a card that fell out in the very beginning, a face card. It's this one. So we'll get back to that, but I have a feeling that that's connected here, that there's something about the mother lineage perhaps that was activated, right? So maybe some part of this shadow is really connected to your ancestry. There could be a long line of women in your past, in your lineage, that have either suppressed or try to escape the same shadow that you have inherited. This is, in epigenetics, we have the study of inheriting trauma through our lineage, but also shadows, right? Addictions, all of these kinds of things that they get inherited down, just as any kind of disease would be inherited, right? Or the color of your hair and eyes. So it feels like you're being called to look at that and to use that energy of Mars, is what I'm getting with this fire, to use that energy of Mars, which is taking action and moving forward in a bold direction. Mars is going to be moving into Aries. And Aries is where Mars is at home. It is the ruling planet of Aries. Also Scorpio. So you might be Aries or have Scorpio energy, or you might have a very strong Mars placement. You can check that in your chart. You can go to astrological.com, for example, put in your birth chart, your date of birth and all that, and then you'll see where your Mars is at. But it feels like there's something there that's being asked to be alchemized through fire, through the element of transformation, and to use this energy, right? So as we move into March 20th, March 21st, for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere watching this, this will be the spring equinox, right? Where the days start to become longer again, and life starts to bloom again. And there is that element of fire that gets activated through that, right? Feels like, yeah, there's something there that's being asked to be investigated on a bit of a deeper level in terms of your identity and who you are now and who you want to be as we move forward into this year. I want to come back to this card briefly. This woman. I'm actually going to show you her a little longer because I would like for you to tap into, as you look at this card, just tap into what words, names, emotions, maybe a time period, anything that comes to mind as you're looking at this card. Trust that whatever is coming to mind first will probably be what's most accurate for you. This is a collective reading, so of course it's going to be quite ample, right? So please use your discernment as we go through this, right? And figure out, where am I feeling this resonance and the pull. But as I'm seeing this figure, I'm getting that there's a demureness about her character, but also a slight imbalance when you look at her eyes. They are of different sizes, different shapes. So it seems as though the masculine side is actually amplified here. The feminine side is smaller. And it's giving me the sensation that whoever this woman represents, this feminine energy represents, either in your family, in your lineage, or it could be in your past lives as well. These are women who perhaps, how do I say this? These are women who perhaps over amplified their masculine energy. So perhaps these were women who were very strong. They were caretakers. They had to provide. Perhaps these were women who were a lot in the doing and who were a lot in the taking care from this place of having to do a lot. And perhaps they had difficulties actually tapping into their intuition, tapping into their actual emotions, tapping into their emotional body. And I'm feeling like that's what's being called now here. This is what you're being confronted with, right? With the sensation of being stripped bare, of having to do or being able to do maybe ultimately things, and having to really see and feel those emotions, that shadow, and how it's been perhaps running your life in some way or form. Okay. All right. What else? This is interesting. What else, Spirit? What else do you need to know? Okay. Coming out strong. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Look at that. Okay. So we have a woman in a donkey, kind of making her voyage onwards. Child crying behind barbed wire. Person in a gas mask. And more elderly women walking away. I feel like there is a theme here. And it feels like it's tied in by these two cards when we're looking at them. This is very, very clear right now. So we have these depictions of women carrying a burden, carrying a load, carrying perhaps the weight of a household, all of their possessions in one bag. There's this sensation of having to, I'm getting the word flee territory. So this, for a lot of you, or some of you at least, I'm getting, you may come from lineages of migrant parents, or parents that perhaps had to escape war situations or crime zones. Whatever it was, there seems to have been women, and perhaps even strong matriarchal type women. So as we said, women that were really showing up as the leaders of the family in some way or form, but they might have been the ones that had to take action and remove themselves or remove their family. I am getting with these cards though that the women are on their own to a certain degree. They are with other people migrating behind them. You can see that clearly here. There are other people, right, in the background that are migrating here. And here as well, there's even a man that's migrating behind the woman. But I'm getting this sensation that these are women who had to very much make their way out on their own. These could have been women that were outcast in your lineage, or to some degree were experiencing the sensation of having to step out with their burdens and with their weight on their bag and on their backs, and really have to go into unknown territory on their own. There's this sensation there, and there's this kind of feeling of whatever reasoning behind there that was, they've left behind, in many cases, they left behind children. They left behind their offspring. They had to leave behind maybe their own inner children, but I'm getting that there was a sensation, or maybe there's a pattern here that had to do with abandonment, right? Of having to move on, be cast out or whatnot, and leaving these children behind, leaving parts of their family behind, and having to pretend that it's not a big deal in some way or form. And I know I don't mean to be insensitive as I say this. I'm very aware, right? The fact that this person is wearing a gas mask. I am feeling like this gas mask is, it could be for some of you that your lineage is survivors of the Holocaust, for example, but without wanting to lean too much into each different type of political situation that may have been going on in your ancestry. I feel like the general sensation with this card is there was a need to hide and to pretend that they were fine. This is what I'm getting in connection to this card, that there was this need to pretend that the depth of the emotions did not go as deep as they went. And I feel like for many of you in this collective, whatever's been happening in the last couple of weeks for you, I have the sensation that it might have been a lot deeper. It might have brought up very deeply buried emotions, and made you feel very exposed to your own actual spiritual, emotional, mental state. And having this feeling that you either had to walk away from something, or that you're having to walk away from something and leave something behind. It feels very powerful. It feels very, it feels powerful, it feels profound, but it also feels like there is some kind of repetition of your lineage story happening here. Okay, I'm gonna take a second to let you integrate that. I feel like that was a heavier information that I anticipated coming through here, but if you're still here watching this, I guess it's resonating with you, so let's rock further, okay? Let's see what's going on here. Okay. These? No. Okay. These. Carry on. Okay. So where are we going from here? What can you expect, or what needs to happen now, Spirit? What does our collective need to do now moving forward? What's moving from here? It's being birthed. I feel like there's a birth of some kind coming for you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Bottom of the deck. 2. Okay. Oh, all right. Interesting. God, I love these cards. Can you tell? All right. Okay, so what's coming next? You can see all that orange. It feels like it's about to get potent. There's something about you here speaking up or standing your truth. We have more vulnerability. Look at that. Got some exposure and gentleness. Maybe some kind of love in addition. And then at the bottom of those cards was this one. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to take it. Okay. All right. So as we said, something's been exposed. It feels like we're before. Oof. Okay, I like this. So it feels like we're before you got maybe caught up. There was this feeling of like, shit, I've been seen. I've been, someone's caught me on my shit. They caught me off guard. I feel like where that was the sensation of what came at you through this process of alchemy, through this process of transforming it and actually going in depth to what that emotion is and what that situation was that was exposed about yourself, that shadow. You are being given an opportunity now as the year starts, as this next week starts, you're being given an opportunity to actually own that vulnerability, to own that story, to own whatever it is that you have been either running away from or that you've been suppressing, and to share it in a public way. It feels like our collective is here, like you're here. And it's almost like the universe will be positioning you in a place where you have an audience, and an audience that is willing to hear what you want to say, what you have to say, or you're calling in an audience for this. It's almost like, it's like an intervention, but in reverse, almost like you need to express something and you need to own it and stand in that light and just kind of be there with your shadow. And it's funny because you can't see it very well, but there's like a tiny little thing here in the card. And it feels as if almost like you're standing there and you're saying like, like, yes, my sweet, gentle people, I have made such crimes and atrocities. Here is the crime and atrocity. Here's my shadow. Here's my ugly little demon friend that I carry with me from my past. And let me show it to you and let me expose it to you. And it's almost like by you owning this vulnerability, it allows you to let that shadow rest, is what I'm getting. It's almost like a part of you can rest peacefully once you own and expose the thing that you may have been hiding and may have been kind of, lurking over you. It's like this sensation of what's no longer lurking over you. It's all of a sudden there's this ability to just curl up in a little ball and be as you are. I'm not sure if that's making sense for you, but yeah, there's this very strong sensation of exposing that vulnerability, exposing that fear. It may be that you carried a lot of fears with you in the last year. But in addition to that, I feel like as you expose yourself, as you show yourself, as you show these parts of you, you're going to suddenly realize that that energetic shift is all of a sudden going to start attracting new people towards yourself. It's almost like there's joy that's being birthed from this ability to own the lineage story, to own what has been repeated over and over and over again, and to be the one who steps out and to be the one who addresses it publicly and shows that those actual emotions, that part that you may have been too scared to show. And it's like, as you do that, the people who are right there with you, they want to dance that dance with you, they are all for it, they're all of a sudden stepping in. And it's a very beautiful sensation also with this. It's almost like there's divine grace coming. It's like, as you own who you are and you own your shadows and you own whatever you may have still been kind of clinging onto and not wanting to give air to just be, right? When we're hiding things, when we are trying to keep things under rug, it's like a little gremlin monster. And it's almost like by trying to push it under, the gremlin monster gets a little wild and he's like, ah, you know, he's like wanting to climb out. And the more you push it under, the more strain there is and the more kind of friction there is. And we have to consume so much time with concealing what's underneath that rug, what's our demons. We have to spend so much time concealing it that we actually miss the opportunities to just be, to just give it space and let it be there and dance along with us and let the good and the bad dance with us in harmony. And it's almost like when we start doing that, when we start becoming more whole and more integrated, there is this divine grace that is bestowed upon us. There's this reaching out. There's all of a sudden perhaps new inspiration and new ideas. I'm getting the Ace of Wands in my head from the tarot. I don't even have my tarot cards here, but that's the image that's coming. It's like the Ace of Wands, like this hand that's giving you a staff, and here it feels like as you own this part of yourself and this thing that's been exposed, it's almost like the alchemy happens when you can begin to turn it into something valuable. Do you get my gist with that? Okay, I hope this is making sense. I feel like there's a lot of fiery energy here. Okay, what else? Face card. Okay. Source is saying one more face card is necessary. What face are you trying to show us? Okay, so apparently there are people who want to support you on this process. What is that energy? What are the people supporting this process? This one too? But that one, yeah, okay, got it. All right. Interesting. Did we not say the female lineage? I believe we did. And then we have this guy. So someone also, I'm hearing paternal figure, a father figure of some kind, could be a brother. I feel like whoever these two people are, I'm gonna, again, let you feel into this energy, who these two characters might be for you. Just take a minute. Again, whatever name, country, image, maybe it's a character that you're thinking of. Whatever's coming up is a supportive element. Trust that, go with it. I feel like for me, what's coming through here is some kind of a grandmother figure. So if your grandparents are still alive, it feels like, or, you know, great aunts or something like that, if they're still alive, I feel like they might be someone to tap into if you feel like this is, especially if this is someone where you're recognizing, as you're watching this reading, you're recognizing a story in your lineage, that might be the person to reach out to, because the likelihood of them wanting you to do things differently than they did, especially if it brought still some pain for them, the likelihood of them wanting you to do it differently and wanting to support you is relatively high. I do feel like whoever this feminine energy is, it's definitely some kind of a nourishing figure. It's someone that you can trust and someone that definitely has your best interest at heart. I feel like with this masculine energy, it might be somebody who you're not expecting. So this could be somebody who otherwise might be actually very rational minded. It's interesting, you know, they have a very wide, square kind of forehead and face. And in face reading, there's this, they say that when people have a wide and relatively large framed forehead, these are overthinkers. These are people who tend to rationalize and intellectualize their emotions a lot. So it's quite ironic that this would be someone who would be encouraging you to step out and own your feelings on something and be less, less yang energy oriented. But I will say that whoever this person is, it could be your partner or a partner. I do feel like it's more of a paternal figure, maybe an uncle as well I'm getting, or an older brother who acted as a paternal figure. Whoever this person is, it's like I feel like their support here is that they also want you, they want to see you do it differently. It's almost like they see how maybe you are similar to them. They maybe see how you are, perhaps they're seeing that you are causing yourself pain by being this way, that it's unnecessary. Maybe they don't want you to carry the same burden that they do. So yeah, feels like these are the people to reach out to. Okay, anything else? Yeah, final message. Okay, let's pull some final messages. A ver. Okay, so that's the final message here. What is the final message we need to know? Entering the energetic new year. Woo. Okay. All of them? All of them. Okie dokie. All right. In this order? Yeah. All right. Okay. Whoa. A lot of cards. Okay. These friendly players. Again, I feel like there's a pattern here, I would say. Then we have a beautiful sunset. And by the way, patterns is exactly how these cards work. So they are psychological association cards, and you can kind of put together the pieces when you start looking at the bigger picture and you see what patterns are being repeated, right? This is kind of the nature of our subconscious as well. It operates in patterns. Okay, so to close this all off, I feel like there's three people here. That is no coincidence. I feel like you're being called to heal in community. Given the fact that you're also being placed with, you know, two different energies here who are meant to be very supportive, I'm getting a bit of like tension on my right shoulder. So I don't know what that's about, but it could be that you're feeling the weight of the world. Oh, yeah, you're feeling the weight of the world on your shoulder. You might be feeling this weight on your shoulder, kind of what this card is about. And I think Spirit is saying very clearly, like, honey, let it out. Like, just let it out. Just let it go. Allow yourself to be seen in this way, right? We have this vulnerability, all of these cards about vulnerability and exposure. But again, you're not being asked to do this alone. You're not being asked to just carry this weight alone. You're being asked to share it also with others and to allow others to bring some joy and some lightheartedness back into your life. And I'm also getting really strongly here with this card that you're being called to make peace. So as the new year starts, we want to start it with a fresh energy. We want to start it with less baggage on our backs. Now I'm getting the Six of Swords from the tarot. So it's the card with the boat and the guy rowing the boat and the woman sitting in it with a child and the swords. And I'm getting that card very clearly in my head, like this transition period. You're not meant to carry all of those swords with you. You don't need to carry that baggage with you. There is something about making peace with it, about feeling the emotions. And ultimately, this is also the way of the divine feminine, right? Of the feminine energy. It is to feel the emotions fully, allow them to flow through your body fully, experience them, witness them, acknowledge them. You might even want to share that moment, share them with another, and then make peace with it. Let it flush out like the ocean. Let the ocean wave take it, right? And we have the sea here as well. It's a sunset over the ocean. So it's really this thing of let the ocean, let the water alchemize it. It might also be a good time for you to actually find a body of water. This could be a lake, this could be an ocean, a pool, whatever, a bathtub, but to actually allow yourself to submerge yourself in water once you have gone through this process. And then lastly, I love it. There's really this motivation to connect with your ancestry, connect with your guides, connect to your lineage. Connecting with your guides can look like many, many things, but I feel like there's this double card right here as well of spirit really trying to let you know, let us know, you are not alone through this. This is a process that you can very much seek out the support of your ancestry, of your guides, of source itself. So it's kind of asking you, like, take my hands and let me speak to you, like let me be present in your life. Let me kind of hold you and support you through this process and bring back that lightness and that peace that you may be seeking or may have been seeking for quite some time. Maybe you didn't even know that this was something that was so active within you. Perhaps you're listening to the reading and you're like, oh shit. So if that's the case, know you're not alone. If you actually do need additional support with this, obviously you can book a reading with me. I'm more than happy to be your transmission channel. This is what I do, Mel's Transmissions. I'm a transmission channel for source, for spirits, for your ancestry, your guides, and whatever wants to come through. So if you want to work with me, absolutely can do. My loves, this is it for now. Anything else? No, I think this is it. We've got it covered. I hope this resonated with you. I hope that you found this supportive. If you like this kind of content, if you resonated and you also found these cards interesting, drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole typical YouTube thing. You know how it is. It is a new channel and I'm slowly starting to grow it. But mostly these readings are just for you to receive, for you to reflect upon. These cards are always an invitation for reflection. So I hope that that was useful. If you want, again, to have a deeper reading with me on a more personal level, comment reading in the tarot reading in the comment section, and I will be sure to reach out to you with my availability. All right. I love you so much. I hope that you take this with you into the new energetic year and let me know how it goes for you. Okay. I love you so much. Bye-bye.